this is really, the wheels are coming off the wagon. Do you think that somebody asked a question? I thought it was an interesting question because it affects everybody differently. In movies, in sports, in sports entertainment, could somebody make an argument, Kevin, that you got too much too early, and that it adversely affected you, and to some degree, in the mid '90s? Were you ready for the? Here you win the WWE title, the Intercontinental title. What the hell, did you win the Rumble that year or something too? I'm not sure.
I was all three: tag, Intercontinental, and World Champ.
Yeah, and was it too much too soon? Was it too much of the push, or was it just another way of getting booked?
I mean, like when I got the world title, if I had 225 singles matches, I'd be amazed. And think about that. Think about a guy think about a WWE champion that's had 250 matches.
I can't. I can't. Now, there may be some obscure somebody. I don't know. But honestly, if a gun was to my head, I couldn't answer that. Other than
I don't know how many Brock had before he was champ, or Kurt. I don't know what. I don't know. But I'm sure it was more than 250.
And how long were you in the business to amass the 250?
Well, think about it. I came in as a Master Blaster. That lasted maybe 3 months. I had a mohawk. They told me to grow my hair back. I came back as Oz. That lasted 3 months. And then I came back as Vinnie Vegas and actually worked more my tag matches more than I worked singles. Then from there I came in. I was Shawn Michaels' bodyguard for the better part of a year. Anytime I worked any matches, it was tags with Shawn. And then I started in '94 working singles, usually opening match against Kid, and then coming back and working either main or semi as Shawn's bodyguard. And then eventually we had that split, and I got the push.
Well, okay. Here's the deal. I'm saying this, and I don't get me wrong. There's two ways to look at this piece of business. One is you were very green, obviously, by your own admission, and having 250 matches to be the centerpiece of the most powerful company of its kind in the world is very daunting. The other thing is, that's what I went earlier about the Army background. A lot of guys kind of half-assed want to implode or get frayed around the edges with that responsibility of being the champion, or being the guy, because I don't think there's enough been said about the guys that are champion. It's not an easy street gig.
No, because number one, I mean, especially, I mean, there wasn't brand splits. There was one world champion, and you were pretty much handcuffed to Vince. And that meant, he don't sleep, so that means you don't sleep.
All right.
So I mean, he expected, everything and more from his champion. And you're trying to draw because everybody's, there's no guaranteed money back then. And if there's not a house, you don't get paid. And everybody's, working their asses off together trying to make this thing work. And at the same point, it's just like, when somebody's going to make you the world champion, and it's Vince McMahon is one. I mean, nobody's holding a gun to Vince McMahon's head, and he's the most successful person that's ever run this business, and he has faith in me. I mean, there's a lot of intangibles. We were, the feds were up our ass pretty good, and we were drug tested. I mean, we were drug tested at times where we'd go into Philadelphia in an afternoon show on a Sunday, be drug tested, then show up at Hershey at 7:30 that night, be drug tested again. I mean, they weren't kidding around. If you were doing steroids or smoking weed or doing anything, it was suspension. I mean, you were steroids, you were done. I think maybe you get maybe 30 days, and the second time, I think it was a 2-strike run. I don't think it was even a 3. And it just so happened that I was clean when I came in. I was clean as Vinnie Vegas, because I don't know if you remember when that kid what was that guy's name? Kip Fry or whatever his name was?
K. Allen Fry, Kip Fry.
Yeah, Kip Fry. Kip Fry came in and said that if you pass the steroid test, you got a 10% bonus for WCW. So I looked at that, and I was making, $125,000, $130,000. I said, hell with that. Let me get this right. If I don't take steroids, I get $13,000. I'm not take steroids, so I didn't take steroids. So I didn't take steroids for none of '93, or '92, and then when I jumped over in '93, and I was already clean. I was still 317 pounds. So it was just like, while everybody else became the incredible shrinking man, I was still a 6'10", 300 and almost 20-pound guy. So, Vince always went with bigger is better.
Oh yeah, he loves the big guys. But look, so did Cowboy Bill Watts, and so did Ole Anderson, so did Dusty, especially when Dusty was booking himself against that big heel.
Oh yeah.
So it's just there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, it's like, hey, I read books about John Wayne getting cast in the movies. He was one of my heroes, and my dad, all this old school stuff. But bottom line is that directors had issues at times finding heels to work with John Wayne because John Wayne was 6'5" or 6'4",
right,
and it was hard to sell for a little heel. The audience was not refined enough for a 6'4" John Wayne to be getting his ass whipped by by Kirk Douglas, who was 5'8".
No.
So and that's kind of what the size thing has always been there in wrestling. We talked about one of the big things about when WCW went out of business and all that stuff. A couple of things. One is, if you had to do all over again, would you still take all your money that you were owed and go rest? I'm being some half-assed facetious here. Or would you have taken less money and got right back on the road for WWE? Now, we know what you did, but now all these years later, do you think you made the right call?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Never, ever give guaranteed money back in your 40s.
Amen, man. Amen. People got to, Kevin, that's the logic that fans need to sometimes stop and research. You're in your 40s. The reality of it is they haven't been 40 yet, a lot of them that criticize some of these movies. Well, I would never have done that. They're young and full of piss and vinegar and defiant. If you're 40 and you got a lot of money on the table, that's like taking points off the board in a ball game. I don't believe in that either, hardly.
No.
Don't give no points back. So you would do the same thing. You had to do it all over again. I would, if I was your best friend, if I was your agent, if I was your relative, I would say, Kevin, come on, take it easy for a couple of years or whatever. How long were you?
16 months.
Okay.
I got my neck fixed, and I got my elbow fixed, and I got a shoulder fixed in that time.
Wow, man, you got tune-up.
Yeah.
New tires, a new coat of paint.
The only thing I got left right now is I need a right knee replacement. I got this shoulder finally fixed, and I get my right knee replaced because it's shot. And that's another thing people don't realize. The reason I stopped playing ball was because I had a career-ending injury. I was hobbled when I got into the business of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I had 9 knee operations on my right knee before I stepped through the ropes day one.
Wow.
So it wasn't like, I was coming. I mean, I'd like to have seen me with a 38-inch vertical jump and about 2 healthy knees and got into that business.
Wow. Yeah, there you go. That's that Don Leo Jonathan stuff. The 6'9", 325-pounder that was doing nip-ups and drop kicks and head scissors back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice, but hey, I look back at what I've accomplished with what was laid out in front of me, and I say, when I was 14 years old, sitting, on my bed listening to the train in the background with no air conditioning in South Side of Detroit, and so there with a pool of sweat sitting on my stomach while I just, sat in my room wondering where I was going to end up in life. It's just like, I look at where I'm at now. I'm like, well, you know what, man? Things didn't turn out too bad, kid.
That's right. Damn right it didn't. Hey, the bottom line is that you've always provided for your family to have a comfortable lifestyle. You've always you've been able to save money. You've been able to build some security. You've been diversified, not only in your portfolio, but in your career path. I'd say, I don't know what you'd change. I mean, you had a pretty damn good run, pal.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it, it's just like, you know, I got the two cars that I drive on a daily basis. I've still got a '93 Bronco that I bought with my SummerSlam payday, and a 2005 Mustang I bought brand new off the, you know, convertible that I've had it tuned. You know, I've got maybe an extra 135 horsepower to put into it. But I mean, I don't buy anything. The only thing, I mean, I bought some sports memorabilia. I've got everybody that's hit 500 home runs. I've got balls for all of them. I got a hell of a Babe Ruth ball with the FBI forensic thing with it. You know, I got some sports memorabilia and some things like that are, I don't know what the hell good they are. They're sitting in a safe deposit box.
I'm with you. I could talk. We could have many beers over our memorabilia collection. And I know that Mantle had home run 536 career home runs. By the way, yeah, I love that stuff. I love that memorabilia. I got John Wayne memorabilia, but a ton of Mantle. I got every Sports Illustrated that Mickey Mantle was ever on signed by him.
Do you remember when Mantle at the end wore glasses?
Mm-hmm.
I remember that like clear as day, just like watching, like, because he was, you know.
I didn't want to remember that. That's not the Mantle I wanted to remember.
No, but I mean that was the guy that I went to Tiger Stadium and saw.
I wanted to be number 7 so badly, but they always gave the number 7 to the best player on the team. I think I was like 25 or something. I was, first baseman. I would hit 5th or 6th every now and then, but there's no Mickey Mantle in me, buddy. The Mickey Mantle said, I sat beside him one time on a flight from Dallas to Oklahoma City. He was coming to do a card show, Dallas to Tulsa. It's about an hour flight, maybe. And I'm coming up there on a Friday to meet my football career to go officiate a football game, and high school football game, and he was going to do a card show. And we sat beside each other on a Southwest flight from Love Field to Tulsa, and just shooting a breeze. So in between that 1 hour flight, he had like 8 screwdrivers. And
wow.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, like he's drinking like Andre would drink beer. I mean, 2 hits and he's gone. He's sloshing them down. So he said, he said, I like you. And I said, I like you too, Mr. Mel. Call him Mick, And I didn't tell him I collected his stuff. I didn't have the balls to say, hey, I got one of the better Mickey Mantle collections in the country. But what are you going to say? I just didn't want to do it. Anyway, he said, let me give you some advice. I thought he was giving me a card or something because he's giving everybody else signed cards. And he said, let me give you some advice. Never date a woman with big hands.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.